The most important political issue to me is jobs and the economy, and that's because we have a lot of people who are unemployed right now. Our unemployment rate is still really high, and we need to do something to help companies, help people create jobs.
My personal opinion on what really needs to be addressed is honestly the lack of bipartisanship currently exhibited in our government. It's really frustrating to see everybody take these two extreme sides and pick apart one another and then ultimately come to stalemates and not be able to solve problems in our government.
I mean, there's a lot going on right now in the world and in the U.S., but I have to say the U.S. economy is huge to me. I don't see how the country can move forward without managing our debt.
As the world's sole democratic superpower, we do have a responsibility to be engaged in international affairs, and that means we do need to be a force for good. That means that we do need to assert our values on countries that don't necessarily share our values.
Well, it's important to remember that we are one of almost 200 countries in the world, and you know, all of us have been made in God's image, and obviously here in the United States we are blessed with an extreme responsibility as one of the superpowers of the world, and we also have the world's largest military. But I really believe that we have this huge amount of influence and power, and we need to be really careful about how we lead.
As a global leader, I think the U.S. does have responsibility to uphold those that are less fortunate and to protect those that aren't able to protect themselves. And so if we see moral wrongs happening around the world, or things that we know are unrighteous acts done to those that are undeserving of those acts, I think we as a country and as a leader have responsibility to care and to protect those.
I think the government does have a role in protecting the environment, but that role needs to be balanced against opportunities for growth. So for instance, while government needs to do things like protect certain areas of land from exploration, and they've done a great job there with national parks, to make sure, and we also need to make sure that we do maintain certain resources so that future generations can enjoy them. So for instance, I mentioned national parks, our coastlines, that's a big thing. But at the same time though, we shouldn't do it at the expense of other priorities. So for instance, we should consider drilling for oil, because that does make us more energy independent.
You know, what good is a balanced federal budget if we have cities that are covered in smog, or lakes and rivers that are filled with industrial waste? I think we need to consider or continue efforts to preserve our natural resources and to be environmentally good stewards to the earth that God has given us. And if that means having restrictions on pollution, or having conservation efforts, I'm all for that.
I think some Christians fall into the realm of thinking Christ is going to come back tomorrow, and so we don't have to care for the world now because it's all going to fall to waste. But I think we have to care for it and tend for it as if we don't know when he's going to come back.
My faith gives me the principles that I look to in how I approach issues.
My faith has shaped my view on these issues by helping me see them as individual issues, not lumped into just the red issues and just the blue issues, but to really look at each one and to look at it through a biblical perspective.
A lot of times, Christians are forced with kind of a lose-lose vote, and it's unfortunate, but it definitely shapes and Christ definitely shapes and colors my viewpoints and my political views.